You're listening to the Uplevel Your Online Business Show, where wealth is empowering, purpose is crucial, and high vibes are non-negotiable. And now, here's your host, certified business coach and practical woo strategist, Sara J Loureiro.
Welcome back to another episode of the Uplevel Your Online Business Show. I have been waiting quite some time to finally be able to give you this episode because I know that this is a really, really hot topic in the online space. Engagement, do you need it? Do you not need it? And I think that this is a really big point of contention for a lot of people, especially when we are so hardwired in our brains and in our hearts to really feel like we need the likes and the comments to feel like people are actually watching us and enjoying what we are talking about. And you guys probably know this, but I will never give you an episode or give you a source of information that's completely new. And what I really aim to do with all of my episodes is make sure that the information that I'm giving you has been tested and has been something that I've been working on for a while so that I can be 100% confident and sure in the information that I'm giving you so that I don't have to kind of go back on it a few months later. And I'm sure that you know what I'm talking about. Sometimes one of my biggest pet peeves is people online or influencers and things are just giving you information and then like a few months later are completely retracting it and being like, that was such a terrible time in my business or that was such a terrible time in my life. And it really hits like a distrust button. So I would never want to do that. But I am here today and I'm going to talk to you about engagement and how important it actually is in your business to help you sign clients. And I think the answer here is really, really going to surprise you. And I've heard from you about how, your Facebook group is dead or you're not getting any engagement on your Instagram posts or you're not getting any comments, no story views. What are you going to do? Oh my goodness. And the first thing is, when you are focusing on engagement in your business as like the be all end all and the holy grail of your business, you're really missing the point. And I think it's really easy for us to get caught up in this, especially because we're so hardwired to believe that we're not good enough. And engagement is such a great place for us to look for that indication and to feel like we have fulfilled that overall feeling, that subconscious feeling or that unworthy feeling, right? So engagement or looking at your engagement really fulfills that because let's be honest, no one has really great engagement online, especially now, especially in 2022. You don't have, you might have 500 followers, but not all 500 people are even looking at your post and certainly not liking them, certainly not commenting on them. And so it's a losing game. Engagement is always a losing game. When we are looking at engagement and trying to be happy with it, it's usually a losing game for us. And that really fulfills that prophecy that we give ourselves of, well, I'm not good enough. Well, people don't actually like me. And so it's really easy to get caught up in the game of, I just don't have engagement on anything. No one likes me. This is the reason why I'm not signing on any clients. And the other part of that, another really interesting part of focusing on engagement, the reason why it's the wrong thing to focus on is because when we look at engagement in our businesses, we're actually deterring from creating real relationships with people. So we're just trying to get that offset of a relationship. We're trying to get that little glimmer of, do people like this? Do people not like this? But the real work in signing on clients and making sure that people are liking things are actually creating relationships with them and creating relationships with them outside of something that's a little bit colder, like a like, right? Or a comment. It's something that goes so much deeper than a like. It goes so much deeper than a comment. It's really starting to connect with the people who are following you, really starting to ask them very important questions about their things that they're struggling with or the real big desires, the real big dreams and goals that they have. And so when we're focusing on engagement, so one, we're creating that self-fulfilling prophecy of, well, nothing is working and no one likes me. I can guarantee you, if you go on anyone's profile or any single little thing that you look for in your engagement is always going to make you feel not good enough unless you have like very, very solid boundaries around understanding what's a good engagement level in your social media and really making sure that you're constantly focusing on the positive of it, right? So it's usually it's like a lose game for most people. And then secondly, when we focus on engagement, we're actually not focusing on developing real intimate relationships with our followers and ideal clients, which is further deterring us from, the real work, which is creating these deep, nurturing relationships with people. And that is ultimately what's going to bring us sales. And so on the other part of that, focusing on engagement really is also detracting us from doing the uncomfortable work. And here's another thing that I usually see when people try to focus on engagement and have engagement be the be all end all of their businesses. I've had countless clients now, which is why I knew that this would be a really great podcast episode for you guys. But I've had countless clients now tell me, my Facebook group is dead or my email list is dead. So telling me that they don't have any engagement. But then on the flip side, they also say, okay, well, I have, this amount of people and people seem to like it when. And this is another issue with relying on engagement as a form of helping you get more clients. When you start off a sentence with people really like it when, and then finish it with, let's say, for example, I post selfies, or when I post photos of my dog, or when I talk about this specific thing, what are we defining as people? That is the biggest issue, because you could have 5,000 followers, and I've had quite a few clients that I've worked with now have really great followings and really have really great engagement numbers, but no clients to come from it. And the reason for that is because we're not defining who these people actually are. And so let's say, for example, if you're a yoga teacher and you are posting to Instagram and you're finding that everyone loves when you are posting photos of you doing back bends, yet your clients really want to help with relief from stress and anxiety, you're going to get a lot of likes and a lot of comments on your back bends because maybe you're really bendy, maybe you're really flexible, but those aren't the people who are going to be purchasing your programs. And so if you're only after that engagement aspect of what you're doing, if you're only after getting those likes and getting those comments, then of course you're going to continue to put out more back bends and try to get more bendy and try to just produce more content that's going to give you the likes. But that's actually not engaging people to the point of working with you, because more likes and giving people what they want, get people, once again, is not targeting your ideal clients. And when I've seen this in my clients who have really, really big followings, sometimes it's actually really difficult for them to find out who their clients are if they haven't done a lot of really clarifying messaging work, if they haven't done what are the pain points, what are the desires, and what are the struggles that people really come to me for help with. Now, I think that this is a really hard thing to understand because there's so many people out there, especially social media managers, who are saying, engagement is the holy grail of your business, right? You need to have engagement. If you don't have a specific amount of engagement, then you run into all of these other problems. You run into the problem of, well, not everyone is going to be seeing your posts. If people aren't going to be seeing your posts, they're not going to be connecting with your content. If they're not connecting with your content, they don't know that you exist. So you need to increase that engagement level. You need to increase how many people are watching your stories. You need to increase how many people are commenting. You need to increase how many people are liking, all of that kind of stuff. And to a certain extent, this is true. It's always really, really great to make sure that you do have people who are actively enjoying your things. And one of the best ways to really gauge at that, especially on Instagram, is to see how many people are saving your posts, how many people are sharing them. But when we're not focusing on that one ideal client with this, we're missing the point. And I think the really, really great news about all of this, and something that I've been waiting to share for a long time, is that I have been, I think almost throughout the entirety of 2021, I was attempting to quote unquote, fix my engagement on Instagram and on Facebook. And I almost shut down my Facebook group because in my brain, I was like, the Facebook group is dead. There are no people in there. People aren't liking, people aren't responding to things. And I'm so glad that I didn't shut down the group. And so if you ever feel like you need to start a new Instagram account or you need to start a new Facebook group because everything is dead, I would love to do a mindset shift there with you, because once I started to look at engagement not as something that was going to determine my worth as a business owner, and more so as something that was just going to help me to leverage my business a little bit more, everything changed. And I also want to say here that 2020 and 2021 were my biggest years in business. Like, I've never had this amount of success. And even consistently, it's been really, really incredible. And I know that 2022 is just going to be even bigger. I can already feel it. I can already see it in the business and with all the energetics that I've been working with. But what I want to say here is that I have had less engagement, and so less likes, less comments on or in those 2 years where I had my biggest years in business than when I was not doing as well. So when I was at the 6-figure mark, let's say my business, which was still really, really great, I actually had more engagement than I now have at the multiple 6-figure mark in my business. And so that should be a testament to how much engagement actually does not matter. And some of my biggest months in business were some of the months that I had the least amount of engagement going on. So I'm talking likes, comments, all of those things. And if I were to gauge engagement as how well my business is working, or if you were to look at some of my accounts to see like, okay, is Sarah really doing really well? You'd probably see my Facebook group or my Instagram account and be like, wow, there's no engagement in there, right? Like, how's this woman how's she even making money? How's she even signing on clients? And one, this is just a testament to how much engagement really does not matter in the grand scheme of things. But also two, I think that this is such a big testament to how we can't really compare ourselves to other people who we think are quote unquote doing really well or not doing really, really well. And I have personally seen business owners who are absolutely killing it. Okay. So business owners who are just doing super, super well. I look at their Instagram accounts and it looks like a graveyard. There's almost no engagement. There's no likes. There's no comments on any of their posts. But that's such a testament to the fact that kind of stuff really just doesn't matter in the long run for your business. And the more that you try to make that matter, the more that you're deterring from the real work in your business. And it really clicked for me, especially because I've always been the type of person who has had problems listening to my own intuition. And this is, I think, one of the reasons why when I coach, I really try to coach my clients through intuition first, strategy second. But I've had such a problem with that because as a young child, I was always told that I need to listen to my authority, and quote unquote authority online says that you need to have specific levels of engagement in everything that you do. And it took me a long time to realize that no, my intuition was right in this. And another really telltale sign of that was some of my best clients. And one of my clients specifically, who's making upwards of 10K every single month as a health coach, her Facebook group is almost a graveyard too. And that's where she gets the majority of her clients. And so am I saying that engagement is not important at all? Absolutely not. I think that engagement is a really great way to understand what it is that your clients want and don't want. However, when you're not defining engagement and when you're not defining your following as ideal clients and just the people who are liking my posts, it's really deterring from the overall goal. And I remember an entrepreneur that I used to follow, Yaya Bakar. He, in one of the trainings that I was watching from him, also stated that his business completely changed around when he stopped looking for engagement and stopped looking for more people to like and comment and share his post, and really just started focusing on the struggles that he knew his ideal clients had. That's when his business blew up too. And I always want to give credit where credit is due. And so that's why I wanted to include that. But it, once again, really shows a testament to what are we focusing on and why are we focusing on it? So why are we focusing on engagement so much? Why is that the holy grail of business and how well your business is doing? And why is that also a focal point of judgment for so many people? Because I think it's so easy for us to kind of just like go look and see someone's following and be like, oh my goodness, that person's doing amazing. But that literally tells you nothing. It tells you nothing about that person's business. You could have a following of 500 people and be a multimillionaire and completely rock the online business space. And you can have a following of 20,000 people and not have any of those people purchase from you. And trust me, I've had clients who have done both. And you can also have a following of 10,000 people and have no engagement and still be rocking and absolutely killing it online, because those things, those metrics aren't actually the metrics that really, really matter. Now, if you're asking yourself, okay, well, Sarah, if those metrics don't really matter, then which ones do? And I think that this is why niching is so important. And so when you are listening to so many different people and so many different mentors online who are just giving you, let's say, for example, the rundown on Instagram Reels, or the rundown on how to create a Facebook group, or the rundown on, how to get a higher follower count. If they're not niche to you, if they're not niche to service-based entrepreneurs, then you're going to be getting a very, very broad view of what it is that you need. And so let me give you an example for this. I actually recently had a client who was also talking about all of these things to me, and she was comparing herself to an influencer, to someone who basically sold or made money through sponsorships. And that's what an influencer does. And there's nothing wrong with that. But the business model of an influencer is going to be very different than a business model of a coach or the business model of a service-based entrepreneur. And the reason for this is because an influencer does need to take a look at engagement, because engagement is what they're going to eventually sell to the people whose brands they sponsor. And so those brands need to make sure that the following that they have is actually engaging with their content. And engagement in that sense, usually influencers, what they are promoting is, things that cost less than $100, right? So a lot of engagement means that a lot of people are going to go there, and it's a really low entry point in terms of what people are going to be purchasing from them. And a lot of the things that they end up sponsoring are things that are just readily available for everyone, and are things that aren't very niche specific either. And when influencers do work online, of course, they have different parameters that they need to follow. They have different things that they want to look out for. And so if you are listening to a mentor, for example, who's telling you how Reels have a really, really great reach online, you want to start to ask yourself, okay, is that mentor actually targeting people like me? Are they targeting service-based entrepreneurs? Are they targeting coaches? And who is their primary target market? And is that actually going to benefit me? Let me tell you something. You can have a reel that gives you like 4,000 views, but if you don't have anyone following you back from that reel, if you don't have anyone messaging you from that reel, it doesn't matter how many views you got. It's not going to translate into clients unless you're really focusing on the right things with your messaging. And an influencer will need to get a lot of people to like and comment on their things, but they're also not selling, packaged programs worth thousands of dollars. It's a very different business model. And so be very careful with who you're listening to for that type of advice, and understand that there's so many different types of business models online. There's so many different ways of making money online. And it's not necessarily that there's one right or wrong way. It's just that there is a better way for your niche. There's always a better way for your niche. And you want to make sure that you're finding mentors and people who are listening to that are very niche specific for you. And to go back to, in terms of the niche of service-based entrepreneurs, coaches, social media managers, usually those are the people who I tend to work with the most, consultants, financial consultants as well. I've had a few clients in that area, is making sure that you're building relationships with people. So making sure that you're actively outreaching, making sure that you are building relationships with the right type of people, and obviously making sure that your messaging is very, very clear and really focused on people's struggles and what people want in terms of their desires in their lives and in their businesses. Those are going to be the big game changers for you that, let's say, for example, an influencer doesn't really need to focus on because that's not part of their target market. So those are the things that are so much more important than engagement. And to kind of sum up how important is engagement, it's great for you to use as a metric to see what your people are interested in. However, it is not the holy grail of your business. And There are so many really, really amazing coaches and service-based entrepreneurs out there who are killing it, who have zero engagement. So there you go. There's my answer for you. That is something that has come from years now of upping my engagement in my business and really just not seeing that much of a difference on that engagement front in my business. Usually the times that we see the most of a difference and change is when I create really amazing content that really, really focuses on my ideal client. And of course, when I follow that up with making sure that I am maintaining conversations with people. So those are the two most important things for a online service-based business. And engagement just isn't as much of an important part of it. So I hope that this helped you. I hope that this helped you to now let go of needing to have a specific amount of likes, needing to have a Facebook group that's quote unquote not dead. And to just really move forward and actually focus on the things that matter in your business, because once you let everything else go, things become so much easier. So thank you so much for listening. I hope that this really landed for you. If you want to leave me a comment about the episode, feel free to follow me on Instagram at Sara without an H, J Loureiro, Loureiro. I'd love to hear how you enjoyed the episode. And if you did, feel free to leave me a comment on Apple Podcasts and like and subscribe to the episode. It would mean the world to me if we can continue this conversation.
Thanks for listening to the Uplevel Your Online Business Show. If you enjoy our show and would like the show notes and free goodies about how to grow your online coaching business, head over to sarajloureiro.com for more information. We hope you'll tune in next time.